Chapter 1. Hello. My name is Clinton Hamilton. I'm 6 feet tall with short brown hair. Well, graying hair, actually, but you get the picture. I'm now 54 years old and married to a wonderful and beautiful woman named Estelle. This is my second marriage, and Estelle and I have been happily married for over 17 years. We both brought children from our previous marriages. Joshua was my son, and Carlos was Estelle's son. We then had a lovely daughter together named Maria 3 years after we were married. Maria is now 14 years old, a daddy's girl, and full of life. I am an architect and an artist. When I'm not designing houses and small-scale business buildings, you can find me drawing, painting, or enjoying my time with my wife and children. Our sons have recently moved out of the house and are in university. Joshua is becoming an architect like me, and Carlos is studying education and planning to become a high school teacher. We all live in Portland, Oregon, in a house that I had purchased with my first wife, Bethany. Bethany was taken from me too soon. She was only 34 years old when she passed away from breast cancer. She left me and our 4-year-old son, Joshua, devastated at her death. Even now, all these years later, I still find it hard on some days to face my memories of our life together. Her memory is frozen in time for me. In my mind, she doesn't age or change. She will forever be remembered this way. Now, with the loving support and encouragement of Estelle, I would like to tell you Bethany's story, or more appropriately, Bethany's song, because that is what her memory is for me. A beautiful, sweet, softly sung, tender love song that has been put to the most enchanting and encapsulating music ever created. It was like she was an angelic being that floated through time, settled for a moment, and then drifted away, leaving all that knew her profoundly touched, gently caressed by her soft, pure, and innocent heart, and then devastated as she left this earthly realm before her time was up. Bethany was my true love, and I was hers. On the day we found each other, our lives changed forever. It was just after Christmas break, January 1992, and I was returning to the University of Washington for the second half of my second year. I was studying architecture and was dating a girl that I had grown up with by the name of Morna Raffi. Both Morna and I had been in the same schools from preschool all the way through high school, and on into university. We were best friends. We both came from wealthy homes, and both sets of parents were at the top of their fields. Her parents were both medical doctors, and my mom was a high-powered corporate litigation lawyer. My dad was an architect. I should mention here that I am also the youngest of 4 children. My oldest 2 brothers, Albert and Wyatt, are lawyers like Mom, and my sister Carol is an engineer in a large national firm. I was the accidental baby. My mom had me when my sister Carol was 9 years old. I was the baby by a long way in our family. I essentially grew up with 5 parents who all tried at various times to direct and control my life. Okay, back to Morna. She and I had dated ever since the 8th grade, and we had told each other we were going to marry. My mom and dad adored Morna. She was very similar to my mom with her competitive and take no prisoners nature. Morna played a lot of sports and was really good at it. She won multiple awards. She was also incredibly smart and stayed pretty much at the top of her classes in both high school and university. Morna could be controlling, but she was in love with me. And until I met Bethany, I had thought Morna was going to be my forever love. That all changed in an instant on the first day I met Bethany. At that time, Bethany was only 18 years old and a month away from turning 19. She was at UW visiting her older brother and his girlfriend, Craig MacArthur and Anna Volkoff. She had just recently broken up with a psychotic head case by the name of Troy Smudge. Troy had been obsessive about Bethany and had made her life a living hell as she tried to get rid of him. Bethany was staying with Craig and Anna for a week in order to help her clear her mind and rebalance her mental health after the breakup. Morna and I walked into the university cafeteria on the Sunday evening for dinner, before the Monday start of the second semester. I was finding a seat when I accidentally bumped into a young girl. It made me spill my soda pop on Morna's shirt and then all over the floor. When I turned around, the vision I saw completely took my breath away. The prettiest girl I had ever seen was standing there and apologizing like crazy. She seemed embarrassed and flustered and almost in tears. She helped me clean up the mess. As we were both on the floor, I could smell her perfume. It was intoxicating, pure and innocent, just like she was. She smiled at me with the prettiest almond-shaped big blue eyes, and it melted my heart right on the spot. I remember smiling back at her, and she blushed. Morna, of course, got angry about her new shirt being stained with pop and growled at this beautiful angel. Again, the girl apologized and offered to pay for the cleaning. Then the girl went to the food counter and bought me another pop. She handed it to me and said, "I hope you like cherry cola. That's my favorite. You seem to be a cherry cola guy too." I asked her why she thought that. She replied, "You seem to be sweet and kind, and you didn't get angry with me." She gave me another beautiful smile. I remember feeling my heart fluttering and skipping a beat as I gazed at her. Her whole face lit up when she smiled and spoke. It was like she was glowing. I could start to feel the mutual chemistry between us start to draw us together like a magnet. I held out my hand for a handshake and said, "My name is Clinton Hamilton. What's your name?" She suddenly seemed shy as she smiled and replied, "My name is Bethany MacArthur." "What are you studying here, Bethany?" She gave me a sheepish look and replied, "I'm actually a junior college student. I'm here visiting my big brother and his girlfriend." My heart instantly sank. Here I am, meeting this intoxicating angel for the first time, and I can tell she's slightly interested in me. But she's in junior college, and she's only 18 years old. Morna jumped in and said, "Oh my gosh, you are just a baby in preschool still." Then Bethany replied with a cute and hilarious comeback, "No, I'm not in preschool. I'm a big grade 1 girl. I grew this much this year." She held up her finger and thumb to indicate 2 inches. Whatever misgivings I had about her young age evaporated instantly. I loved her quick-witted sense of humor. I could tell that she was kind-hearted, fun, and playful. I asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Cherry Cola girl?" "I want to be a teacher and a mommy. I want to have this many kids." She held up 6 fingers. 3 girls and 3 boys. If Bethany had asked me at that moment if we could get married and have our future together, I would have said yes right there on the spot. That was it. I was in love with her after only a few minutes of conversation. She was so cheerful and full of life. She was stunningly gorgeous, and I had to get to know who this intoxicating angel really was. Morna was getting bored, so she grunted something at me and left to go to her dorm. I stayed behind and talked with Bethany for the next 2 hours. Her brother and his girlfriend seemed friendly enough and gave us space. They moved a few tables over to allow Bethany and I to get to know each other. "So, Mr. Big University Boy, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Bethany teased. Bethany teased a lot. She was sassy and fun and could sometimes say shocking and inappropriate things in the funniest way ever. She could get me laughing to the point where my face hurt after a while. She saw humor in everything. "I am training to be an architect. My father is an architect." "Oh, do you still have to use crayons, or do they let you draw with real colored pencils?" "Mostly crayons," I teased back. "Colored pencils are for next year." "I'll bet you draw. Will you draw me a picture sometime?" I laughed. "I have drawn in the past, but my parents really encouraged me to put my talents to more practical uses. My mom does do flower pressing as a hobby, though. I think it helps ease the tension from being a high-pressure lawyer." Bethany smiled and replied, "If I have a little boy who loves to draw, I will give him all the paper and colored pencils he wants. I don't care if he ever makes money at it as long as he is happy." I soon learned that Bethany was like that. She loved the artist's soul. To her, if you didn't express your soul, you weren't truly living. She saw beauty in everything. "What do you do for art?" She smiled and replied, "I love music, and I love to dance. I'm not a very good dancer, but I feel free and happy every time I'm doing it. I can't explain it very well, it's just who I am." The picture I was being shown was an artistically inclined girl who loved living life as it came. She didn't seem to worry about having the right career or trying to please other people. She just enjoyed the here and now. Maybe we should dance together sometime. Bethany blushed and gave me a shy smile. I think I would really like that. I then asked, well, why become a teacher? I want to teach little children. I love little kids. I want to teach kindergarten and grade 1. You can sing and dance with them, read stories to them, and they are so cute. I love them, and I love babies. I could see her eyes light up as she described what she liked. I replied, I can see you doing that. Somehow I don't think it would be right if you did something else like be a lawyer or a business tycoon. Bethany laughed. That sounds stressful. I would probably cry if people started yelling at me in a job like that. I couldn't handle that at all. My emotions aren't ever very far from spilling over. I like happy things like puppies, babies, flowers, and cherry cola. Then being a kindergarten teacher is the perfect fit for you. As I spoke with her, Bethany was capturing my heart and pulling me into who she was inside. She was innocently honest about what she was and what she wasn't. There was something so freeing about talking with a girl like her. Then I took a small risk and said, I have a confession to make. I love watching ballet and figure skating on TV. I can feel the emotions that the performers feel when they are out there. Bethany leaned across the table and took my hands as she expressed, oh my gosh, I love that too. I have tried to explain that to my brother Craig and he just doesn't get it. That did it. That broke the ice in a much deeper way with this intoxicating artistic girl. She must have named off at least 20 different ballet performances, and I had seen every one of them. She was so excited. Then she began to tease me again and playfully stated, I think you and I are soulmates. I have never had a conversation with a guy before who has known anything about ballet, let alone seen a performance. She laughed and stated, Clinton, I think you and I are supposed to become good friends. I took another chance and replied, I love to cook and I hate watching football. Bethany shrieked with laughter as she touched my hands again. She leaned in and looked deeply into my eyes and teased, I'm going to have to marry you. And when we have kids, we will teach them to hate football as much as we do. Let's put them in ballet and dance and figure skating, okay? I was laughing and thoroughly enjoying her teasing, playful banter. I loved watching her expressive eyes and the way she scrunched her nose as she laughed and carried on. I could feel the powerful chemistry between us working its magic. She seemed just as hooked on me as I was with her. Suddenly, our 3-year age difference didn't matter anymore. Then I took the biggest risk in our fledgling relationship so far. I said, I would like to draw you a picture. I haven't done it for a while, so I may be a bit rusty, but I can picture you in my head dancing like a ballerina. You were born to dance, Bethany. I believe you when you say it is in your soul. Bethany sat back and stared at me for a few moments. She then looked away and looked back as her eyes started to water. Then she whispered as she smiled, Do you remember when I said that my emotions are near the top? This is one of those moments. What you just said to me is really beautiful. And I think I've needed a guy to say that to me for a while now. She fanned her face with her hands. Sorry, it's just been a tough week, and she started to tear up. Your last boyfriend didn't say things like that to you? Bethany shook her head and softly replied, No, he said a lot of other nasty and hurtful things instead. I nodded. I understand. I don't do nasty and hurtful. Then I opened up a little more. I've been accused of being too sensitive at times. My mom can be a battle axe and says I'm too soft, but I'm not built like her. I think I'm like you. I don't do well with conflict and yelling. It makes me want to go away and hide. I like soft, Bethany replied. Soft is like a warm, cozy hug. Bethany and I walked behind Craig and Anna. Every once in a while, they would look back and smile at the two of us. Bethany got a lot of looks from guys as they passed us. She seemed really used to it, but it felt new to me. When we got to her dorm, we spent the next half hour saying goodbye. Bethany stated with a sad face, I don't want to go inside yet, but I will feel better if I can talk with you again tomorrow. Do you think that would be okay? Okay? I was so smitten with this girl that I was ready to propose to her on the spot. I would really like that. Let's meet again at breakfast in the morning around 8, she replied in a soft, shy voice. I would love that too. Sweet dreams, university boy. Sweet dreams, cherry cola girl, I replied. I turned and walked away and looked back a few feet down the path. She was watching me and gave me a big smile and a little wave. I turned again about 100 more feet down the sidewalk, and she waved one more time before going inside. When I got back to my dorm room, Morna was inside with her friend Pamela. She looked up at me and asked, "Where were you? I waited for you, and I'm starving. We all want to order pizza." I lied. "Sorry, I ran into a couple of the guys and didn't realize how fast the time went." "Oh, you weren't with that little junior college chickie?" Morna asked with suspicion. "What junior college chickie is that?" Pamela asked. Morna rolled her eyes and replied, "She's one of those flirty, fluffy types. You know, the kind that we all hated back in high school, who bat their eyelashes at boys just to get attention." Pamela groaned. "I hate girls like that. They give the rest of us a bad name. I'll bet she cries when she breaks a nail." Soon, Pamela and Morna were laughing and imitating what they thought Bethany was like. When I woke up on Monday morning, I wanted to sneak off and find Bethany, but Morna spotted me leaving my dorm room and ran up to me. "Hey, what's your hurry? There will still be lots of scrambled eggs when we get there." Morna teased. We made small talk as we walked together. Morna was oblivious to where my heart was going, and I felt guilty as she tried to be friendly and enjoy my company. It was like I was tormented inside and not sure how to handle it all. On one side, there was Morna, the ever-faithful, best friend and loyal girlfriend. She was sure of herself and beautiful in her own right, but she wasn't Bethany. In a single afternoon, Bethany had captured my heart completely with her innocent and playful charm. She had opened up her soul and showed me an honest girl with soft, gentle dreams, and then she mixed it all in with her alluring eyes, infectious laugh, and radiant, glowing smile. It was at that moment I knew there was no turning back. I had to risk it all for a chance to tell Bethany that I was genuinely in love with her. But I also knew this would break Morna's heart into 1,000 pieces. When I walked into the cafeteria, I saw Bethany right away. She had been watching the entrance and gave me a big smile when she saw me. I casually led Morna to the food line, and 5 minutes later we wandered over to Bethany, Craig, and Anna's table. "Do you mind if we join you?" I asked, as if I was actually interested in talking with anyone but Bethany. Bethany immediately responded, "Please do." I felt another flush of heart-palpitating excitement and guilt as Morna and I sat down. Bethany was not hiding her pleasure at seeing me. It was as if Morna didn't exist to her. I could see in her eyes that she already knew I was drawn to her, and there was no denying it. "How did you sleep last night?" I asked innocently. Bethany blushed and glowed as she replied, staring into my eyes. "It was hard to get to sleep at first." Morna replied, "Yeah, these beds really suck. Oh, and sorry for busting your chops on spilling pop on my shirt. I washed it last night and it came out like new." "No worries at all. It was a Christmas gift to you," Bethany stated with a kind smile towards Morna. "I would have been mad if someone had done that to me." Morna laughed. "I doubt that. You look kind of like a little goody girl who never says a bad thing at all." Bethany gave me a sheepish look and then replied to Morna, "I can have kind of a potty mouth when I get upset. I'm working on being a better person." I couldn't resist a teasing dig. "What do you say when you get mad?" "I'm not going to swear in front of you, okay?" Bethany laughed. "I have enough trouble saying really inappropriate things to my family. I'm not going to start with you." "Why not?" I teased. "Are you afraid to show the naughty side of your junior college influence?" Bethany laughed and playfully teased back. "You are too sweet for me to corrupt your beautiful artistic soul. I won't do it even if you beg me on your knees." At that moment, it was like Bethany was indirectly declaring her love for me. It hit me like a tsunami. I also felt the silent tearing of Morna's heart as she sat beside me. I could feel her pain pour out of her as she suddenly realized that Bethany had just stolen her boyfriend's heart and was not about to give it back. She had just clued into the unspoken scheme that Bethany's and my heart were hatching to be together. We were caught, and the awkwardness of the moment overflowed. Morna immediately pushed her chair away from the table and angrily replied to Bethany, "Go back to junior college, little girl. Stay away from my boyfriend if you don't want to lose that pretty little smile." Bethany put her hands up and replied, "I'm not trying to steal your boyfriend. I'm only here for a few days. I'm sorry that I upset you." I knew that what Bethany had just said to Morna was also a lie. She was trying to steal her boyfriend, and she knew she had me already wrapped around her finger. Morna stormed out, and I caught up to her halfway back to the dorm. She turned around and demanded, "Where were you last night? Were you with her?" She pointed back to the cafeteria. I looked at her and stated, "It's not like that. I haven't cheated on you, Morna. Maybe not physically, but you have cheated with her in your heart. I can see it all over your face." She started to cry. "Oh my gosh, I've just been pushed aside for some tiny junior college fluffball. What the frick, Clinton? It's supposed to be you and me. Do you know how many guys I have turned down just to stay with you?" "Maybe you don't need to turn them down anymore," I replied before my brain caught up with my mouth. Morna stared at me with an angry and hurt expression that still haunts me to this day. "Are you breaking up with me? Is that what you were trying to tell me for her? For this stupid little upstart girl? Is she what you want?" "Yes," I replied sheepishly. "She is who I want to be with now." Morna was incensed. "Last year when I broke up with you, you begged me to have you back. So I took another chance on you. I have given you my heart as I have never given it to anyone else, and now you don't want me anymore? I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt you at all, but I feel like I just found my true soulmate." Tears streamed down Morna's face as she hissed, "You are a serious fricking jerk, Clinton. You and I were soulmates. That's what you said. You have broken my heart right in front of that senseless little junior college girl, and you have no idea what you have done. I know girls like her. She will toss you aside the second someone better comes along, and you will come running back to me, but it will be too late." Deep inside, I knew this was a real risk, especially as I was about to embark on a long-distance relationship with an immature girl from junior college. But it was too late. I had now damaged Morna's heart beyond repair, and I wanted to get to know Bethany. I hoped I knew what I was doing. By lunchtime, I waited anxiously by the cafeteria entrance. When I saw Bethany, she gave me a beautiful smile. Suddenly, everything felt like it had correctly shifted into place. I walked up to her and asked, "Can we talk alone for a few moments?" "Okay," Bethany replied as she gave me a curious look. I led her to an area out of earshot of anyone else, and had her sit down with me on the large granite window ledge seat. I took her hands, looked into her eyes, and said, "I broke up with Morna this morning. I did that because I really want to get to know you more. I don't know what you have done to me, but I can't stop thinking about you at all. I've never felt this way before, ever. I also know that it's not even been 24 hours since I met you, and we don't really know each other. But I feel like I've known you forever. Our souls are the same. How rare is it to find each other? I am willing to risk it all for a chance to get to know you better. I want to know everything about you, your favorite song, your favorite color, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. I want to know it all. And if I let you walk away without taking this risk and telling you how I feel, I will regret it for the rest of my life. Even if you turn me down, it was worth the risk. So here I am, way out on a limb, and asking if you would be willing to take a risk to get to know me." Bethany teared up and laughed. "You are going to have to get used to seeing me cry like this, because you need to save me a seat right beside you on that limb of yours. I'm climbing out with you. I want to risk it all too." She wiped away her tears and added, "My favorite color is red, and my favorite song is You're Still the One by Shania Twain. I want to sing that song to my husband on our 10th anniversary." I smiled and got a little emotionally choked up as well. I could feel the love overflowing from Bethany's soul as it gently floated and landed all over me. It felt so incredibly pure, innocent, and warm. I knew right then that she was my forever girl, and I would do everything in my power to make her happy. I asked, "Can you guess my favorite color?" Bethany smiled and replied, "I'll bet it's red just like me." I nodded. "And my favorite song?" She grinned. "It will be something about love and full of sappy feelings. Again, just like me." I laughed. "It's This Kiss by Faith Hill. I love that song. And yeah, it's sappy, but then again, I'm a sappy guy." I love that song too. It's in my mixtape collection. I stood, and Bethany immediately got up and stood in front of me. I have to get to a study lab now. I'm already late, and I didn't really complete the work like I was supposed to over the winter break. Bethany gave me a big hug and held me for a few moments. You better not be late. Look for me tonight at the Women of Power Herb Tea Social. Anna is dragging me out to it so that it will feed my soul. Don't leave me there by myself with a bunch of scary, hairy women, okay? I laughed. You got it, Cherry Cola. I'll see you later this evening. I turned and left. I looked back, and Bethany waved at me as she watched me go down the long corridor to the other side of the library and out the door. Later that evening, I walked into the large common room where Bethany said she would be. We saw each other right away. She jumped up off the sofa and gave me a big hug. I am glad you are here. Me too, as I looked around the room with caution. These ladies look kind of mean. Bethany pulled me close and whispered with a feigned look of concern, "Don't look them in the eyes. I told them that you are a tall, muscular girl with facial hair issues. I think they bought it and will let you live." "What happens if I look them in the eyes?" Bethany teased. "It can be really bad if you do that. The big one in the corner just got a prize for consuming her ex-boyfriend in one sitting." "You saw that?" "Oh yeah, every part of his body, even the hairy toes. She set a new record." Bethany and I were wrapped up in each other's worlds that night. No one else existed except us. We laughed and teased each other and found excuses to touch each other's hands. Bethany sat cross-legged opposite me and would often put her hands and lean on my knees as she moved close to tell me some silly little pretend top-secret thing she discovered. Looking back, I realized it was probably immature on both our parts to be like that, but I loved having her around me and touching me. I loved it all. Every moment, I didn't care that it was immature and at times even childish. If she had asked me to play hopscotch in front of the entire university, I would have done it for her without a second thought. Early the next morning, near the end of the week, my mom called at 6:30 a.m. It woke me up, and I groggily answered the phone. "Clinton, you broke up with Morna. Why?" "Oh, hey, Mom. Yeah, it was time to move on. We are too different to make it work." "But she's your soulmate. You said so yourself." "Mom, she's not the one for me. I'm sorry. I know you and Dad really liked her, but..." "Is what she is saying to me true?" Mom demanded. "I don't know what Morna told her, but chances are it wasn't good." "What did she say?" "She said that you are infatuated with some pretty little junior college girl. You've been spending all your time with her." Well, that was about right. I was spending as much time as I could with Bethany. I had one more day before she left to go back to her town of Emerson, and I wanted to make it count. "Mom, she's an 18-year-old junior college girl who lives in Emerson. She's planning to attend UW when she graduates and will be here when I'm in my 4th year. Clinton, you need to listen to me. This is not what is good for you or your future career. Your father and I didn't send you to university to screw up your life. Go back to Morna and make it up to her while you still have the chance. End of discussion." She then hung up. That is what my mother was like. It was her way only. Nothing else mattered. I was not to make any decisions in my life at all without her final approval. And falling in love with a junior college girl was way off the target, even if Bethany was only 3 years younger than me. On the Saturday that Bethany was to go back home, we exchanged phone numbers. We were both sad that she had to leave, but we promised to stay in touch every day. We sat on a bench together, and the cold, dreary day only accentuated our mood. Bethany handed me a folded note with a red heart on the front. I sighed. This really sucks to say goodbye. I wish we had more time together. I'm just getting to know you, and now you're leaving. Bethany gave me a sad face and replied, "At least we found each other. That's what I want to think about now." I nodded and smiled. You are right, Cherry Cola. We found each other. That is pretty cool." I stood up and asked, "Can I call you tonight? To make sure you got home safely?" 8 p.m. sharp, mister. Don't be late or I'll have to come back here and kick your butt." Bethany stood up and hugged me, and we held each other for a long time. She felt so good in my arms. I could smell her strawberry-scented hair, and I didn't want to let her go. "You smell really good," Bethany softly said as she lay her head on my shoulder and turned her face to my neck. "So do you, Bethany. I love the smell of your hair." She lifted her head from my shoulder, looked me in the eyes, and smiled. "I used Anna's ethically sourced Sacred Women shampoo this morning. It's supposed to make me fierce and independent." I laughed, then looked at Craig and Anna, who were waiting by the car. Anna was waving Bethany over so that they could get going. I leaned down and gave Bethany a kiss on the cheek and said, "Until next time, Cherry Cola." I turned to walk away as I didn't want to see Bethany start to cry. She reached out and grabbed my hand and pulled me back close to her. She put her arms around my neck and said, "You don't get to walk away without a proper girlfriend kiss." She pulled my head to hers and gave me a big, passion-filled kiss. That kiss sent shockwaves through my entire body. Her lips were soft and her breath was like honey. I was in heaven. "That's going to keep me warm for weeks," I replied. Bethany gave me another kiss and then just as quickly ran to the car. I could see her wiping away tears as she turned and blew kisses at me through the car window as they drove off. I pulled out the note she gave me, unfolded it, and read, "Dear Clinton, these last few days have been the happiest of my life so far. I still can't believe that you and I are girlfriend and boyfriend. I have to pinch myself and hope I don't ever wake up. I can talk to you for hours and never get bored. I love hearing about your plans and dreams, and I hope that somehow I can eventually be a part of that. Thank you for putting up with me. I know I can sometimes be immature and silly and not true university girl material yet. I can tease and tease until it makes you crazy, but underneath it all, I actually feel really insecure sometimes. I think that is why I get like that. If I tease and joke, then people won't see the real me. I want you to always see the real me. If I get out of line and say something dumb, please understand. It's my way of trying to find words to say something more profound and then chickening out. I hope you can have patience with me as I figure this all out. You have a beautiful soul, Clinton. I feel like I could curl up in it and go to sleep and be safe forever. Hope we get to spend a lot more time together. Your very happy girlfriend, Bethany." At exactly 8 p.m., I called Bethany's house. She picked up on the first ring and teased, "You're 2 seconds late, Mr. University Boy." I laughed and asked, "How was your trip?" She sighed, "It was sad. I cried a lot. I miss you already." "Me too, Bethany. It's been a sad, dreary afternoon, but I can still taste your kiss." She teased, "You should have kissed me a lot sooner." "Well, I'd better make up for it next time we are together." "Did you cry as well?" she asked. "A little." She laughed. "I'll bet you bawled like a baby when I left." "How do you know that?" "I just do. I can feel your heart from here." "I read your letter. I love it. I feel safe in your soul, too." Bethany and I talked on the phone for hours and hours as often as possible. Sometimes we would go late into the night. We both got to know each other so well over the next few weeks. I was starting to be able to tell whether she had had a good or bad day at college just by the intonation of her voice. Sometimes she would call and say, "I just needed to hear your voice today. I'm feeling sad and this is helping me a lot." In truth, I needed to hear her voice just as much. She sent me pictures she had taken along with a few others her family had taken of her. I carried one in my wallet and put the rest up on my corkboard beside the bed. I would stare at them as we spoke. She was so incredibly beautiful. All of my friends commented on that all the time and would say things like, "Dude, your girlfriend is a freaking hot babe. Does she have sisters?" I also sent Bethany pictures of myself, including one of me just after a major workout, and you could see my muscles through my tight shirt. Bethany teased me when she got that one and said, "My friends all think you are the hottest guy ever." "What do you think about it?" I asked. "Me? You'll do in a pinch." "Okay, then I guess I won't send you the next one. I was going to pop it in the mail in the morning, but if you feel that way about it." Okay, I'm only teasing. I want your next picture. I need your next picture." "How much do you need it?" she exclaimed in a low, captivating voice. "I need it so bad, University Boy, like really bad." I think back to those times and realize that they were almost better than meeting in person. It forced us to talk a lot and made us really comfortable with each other on almost any topic. I loved her pretty voice, her infectious laugh, and I loved hearing her breath when she ran out of things to say. It didn't matter what we talked about, we just wanted more time together, even in the silence.